Morning peeps, good morning everyone. All right, let's just jump straight into this video. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but as always, I'm sure we'll find some goodies. Anthony Joshua, let me just fight Tyson Fury wherever it is, whatever time it is. Okay. Look, Eddie Hearn's talking a good game, right? He's saying this fight is going to happen May, June. That's what Eddie Hearn is saying. I think I saw something the other day. It said that Anthony Joshua's team have now reached out to Usyk to offer him step-aside money or something along those lines. So we'll see. We'll see, man. It must be a bit frustrating for the fighters. I actually believe 110% that Anthony Joshua wants to fight Tyson Fury next and Tyson Fury wants to fight AJ next. 110%. I'm not having that someone's trying to duck the other. This isn't a Joshua Wilder situation. I genuinely believe that both of these guys think they can beat each other and want the fight. And then it's just the other crap behind them, right? All the negotiations and this and that. There's so much that gets involved with making these big fights. But I think AJ and Fury both want it. And I guess that's the biggest hurdle. But now it comes down to all the other stuff. And boy, there's a lot of stuff to get through with these two. A lot of stuff to get through. First and foremost, like even the network. Like, where does this fight? Like, if I'm BT Sports and I don't know what contract Tyson Fury's got with them, I don't know if it's even a contract. It might be just a fight-by-fight contract. But if I'm BT Sports, I want that fight on BT Sports pay-per-view. But obviously, if I'm Sky, I want it on Sky pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? If I'm Top Rank, then I want it over there as well. If I'm DAZN, it's got to be on a DAZN platform. I mean, it can't be on 4 broadcast platforms. It can't be. I mean, it can be, but that doesn't make any sense. So there's going to be so many negotiations. There might even be a case of, all right, look, 2-fight contract. The first fight is on that platform or these 2 platforms. The second fight is on these 2 platforms. Where does the fight take place? There's going to be so many sponsorships involved in this one. Look, it's not easy. I know we all want the fight to happen ASAP, but there's so many moving parts to it. But I guess the biggest moving part is that both fighters want the fight, 110%. Don't tell me that AJ's ducking Fury or any nonsense like that. Don't tell me. But let's see. I saw something the other day, like Tyson Fury right now is in Miami. And I think I saw that he said AJ is scared or something. Like he's got a weak mentality and his last couple of performances have shown that. Let the mind games begin, people. Let the mind games begin. All right. You know what I did see? And I feel like this is a bit disrespectful. And I can understand why people are doing it. It's but just because of the age of these kids and the fact they're unbeaten. But it's almost like everyone's forgot about Lomachenko. Like I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, this matchup, that matchup, and who's the best out of these 4, and people have been ranking 1 to 4. And I'm like, well, steady on. Loma's still around. Like, do I think Loma gets beat by all of these guys? No, I really don't. No, I think the best Loma's gone. I do. I think the injuries, I think the way in which Tio handled him in the first 6 rounds has kind of made people now want to step up, right? Shakur Stevenson's like, yeah, I'll fight him. And Devin Haney's like, yeah, bring him on. But you can't rule out Loma. Like, surely no one out there thinks Ryan Garcia beats Lomachenko. Well, I certainly don't. I certainly don't. I think Ryan Garcia's got the power and clearly got the speed, but I think someone with Loma's IQ, boxing IQ, will just outbox him and comfortably as well. Could embarrass him. So let's not sleep on Loma that quick. I personally think Loma's got a couple of years left. Whether or not that's going down to 130 or getting the Teofimo Lopez rematch or just mixing it with these kids at 135, I don't know. But the way in which he's just been dismissed as though he's not there. Not, again, I understand it because those 4 are going to be the future, whether it be at 135, 140. In Ryan Garcia's instance, I think he could go to 147. He's very, very big. But don't dismiss Loma that quick, people. Not that quick. The only thing is, though, I'm not quite sure if there are other promoters or broadcasters would risk Loma with like a Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. I still don't think Floyd would risk him with Javante either, if I'm honest with you. So I guess the only one is Teofimo. Disappointing news about Avanesian and Josh Kelly. I mean, I don't know how many times that fight's been scheduled. I really don't. But it feels like it's been scheduled on and off for about a year and a half. It's almost becoming our Khabib Nurmagomedov Tony Ferguson. That fight was scheduled like 4 or 5 times, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And now Avanesian and Kelly's becoming that. Fights, obviously, I don't know if you guys in America understand any of this, but there is no boxing allowed in the month of January over here, which is crazy. It's really crazy, just because the government have said elite sports can continue. So what does that say about boxing? But Eddie Hearn has said that even if boxing doesn't happen over here, he has a big 3-4 months planned, and those fights will go out to the world, basically. So whether that means all of these fights happen in America, where boxing is continuing, or what he should be thinking, and what Frank really should be thinking, is some sort of fight island. Honestly, Eddie should be thinking something like that. I don't know if he can, but he should be thinking about doing something like that just to continue with his boxing. That might come at too big a cost. I mean, who's going to foot the bill for that? Is it DAZN? Is it Sky? Is it Matchroom themselves? But they must be thinking about something like that, just so there is no impact or interruptions in boxing. Because, again, the back end of 2020 was pretty good. We don't want 2021 to start like this. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia lightweight title fight to be ordered by the WBC. Let's see. Let's see if it happens. I don't think it will happen next. I think Devin Haney will fight Fortuna, Javier Fortuna. That was a fight that was supposed to happen. And I think Ryan Garcia will fight someone else. Again, I mentioned a Richard Comey, which is a risk. But someone like that, and then they'll fight. It just doesn't happen like that, does it? You don't have a big fight to big fight. I think we as fight fans are used to it now. It just doesn't happen. So as much as the WBC is saying we're going to order, I don't mean shit. It really doesn't. What's that? Okay, just a bit of a line here from Tyson Fury. As I said earlier, he's in Miami, and he said that the momentum is with him. I'll take Joshua out early, maybe even 1 or 2 rounds. Yeah, funny kid. Oscar De La Hoya saying that he's working on Golovkin Munguia for May. So I guess that kind of means, if take it as you want it, but that kind of means that Canelo is probably fighting Billy Joe Saunders in May, which makes sense. Canelo has come out and said he wants 4 fights possibly this year. That's what he said he wants. He said he wants every single belt at 168 pounds. He also spoke about Golovkin, and he said, why do I need to fight him again? I beat him twice. He believes he beat him twice. He didn't. He lost the first one, but I think he probably won the second one. So for me, the record books won't say it, but for me, we need a scratch one. We need a third. I don't really want to see it, but, you know, just to clear things up. But he thinks that Golovkin is past his best, and right now he's approaching his best. And he also said that he think he'll stop him, and it would be painful. He said something along those lines, and I think it was translated. But he said he wants 4 fights this year. Obviously, he's going to fight Yildirim. I think that fight's going to happen in February. Then Billy Joe Saunders in May. And to be fair to him, after that, I mean, those are not brutal fights. Even Billy Joe Saunders, like, worst case scenario, that goes all the way. I say worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is he loses, but worst case scenario goes all the way. That's not a brutal fight. That's not a fight that takes it out of you. It isn't, is it? It's a fight where you could get embarrassed a bit, but it's not a fight that takes it out on you. So he could come out of that fight unscathed, really, and then he's got 6 or 7 months to have 2 more. Crazy. If Canelo has 4 fights this year, then, I mean, I'm going to start looking at all these other boxers. I'm going to start going at them. If Canelo can have 4 fights this year, and 3 of those, or at least 2 of those, be legit badass fights, like world title fights against fellow unbeaten kids like Caleb Plant, or I dare say even Benavidez, but Benavidez hasn't got a belt. So Caleb Plant, then madness. That will be a madness. What we got here? Eddie Hearn. It will take Canelo going completely outside of his weight class comfort zone to get beat. I mean, if you're Billy Joe Saunders, you really want to hear that, don't you? Your promoter saying that it's going to take Canelo going completely outside of his weight class and comfort zone to beat him. Yeah, I really want to hear that if I'm Billy Joe Saunders. I really want to hear my promoter really backing me, really saying, yeah, I've got a chance. Because, you know, now, let's be honest, a week before the fight, Eddie Hearn was saying Billy Joe Saunders has got the style to beat Canelo, when he's clearly just said here that no one is beating him in and around his weight class. I agree with that, by the way. Benavidez is an interesting one, just because his size and the fact that he's very aggressive as well. But it's going to take a lot to beat Canelo, a lot. I really would like to see the Charlo one, again, just because of his aggression. But he's at 160. But Turbiev's the one everyone's talking about, right, at 175. That's crazy that we're thinking of a guy at 175. There must be a 168 guy that hasn't come through yet that could do him. There must be. What we got here? Povetkin. Dillian Whyte talks a lot. Postponement was better for him. I agree with that. Actually, I agree with both statements. He does talk a lot, which is fact. It's not me digging him. And I do think the postponement was good for him. There's been 2 postponements of this fight. Remember, this fight was supposed to happen, am I right in saying November? I can't remember when their fight was now, in the back garden. But it was supposed to happen like 6 weeks later, remember? Got postponed. And then it was supposed to happen January 31st. Got postponed. I think the rest is good. It was a big knockout. It gives him time to work on a couple more things. Remember, he did switch trainers as well, so it gives you time to work on that trainer. Understand what they want, understand what they're trying to get you to do, a bit more sparring to kind of work on those things. Povetkin's right. And Dillian Whyte should look at this as a bit of a blessing. I can understand the ego. He wants to get back in there and get back on the horse and, you know, get his opportunity to beat Povetkin and then have those fights with the big guys in the division. But this gives you more time to work on things. Very similar, I think, to Deontay Wilder, although Deontay Wilder hasn't switched trainers. But remember, he did get rid of one of his trainers in the aftermath of that loss. Gives him time to work on things. I don't think you can work on anything to beat Tyson Fury personally, but you got to look at it like that. You got to take a positive out of a negative if you can. Talking about fucking negatives, lockdown. This lockdown is going mad. Like, we started this lockdown in this country in March. I remember because I was in my birthday during lockdown, and we're in January, and it doesn't look like. Actually, you can't picture it all opened up again. You can't picture, and this is quite sad, but you can't picture the government saying, "Yep, we're fine, hey, back to normal." Just can't picture it. That's crazy. Like 2021 could be another complete write-off. And I know a lot of people are suffering, like depression, mental health. But I live by myself, and sometimes even I like sink into a bit of like, you know what I mean? It's mad. I guess I'm lucky that I get to go to work and have some sort of interaction with people. But gym was my fucking place. Gym was my, like, I don't necessarily care about going to the pub and bars and all that shit and raving and clubbing. No, gym's my thing. So it's so disappointing to see the gyms shut again. Man, Zhu Can, Josh Warrington, that fight should happen. But again, where does it happen? Like, that fight, I guess, was going to happen over here. Remember, unification fight. Both of these guys have got belts. And it was going to happen Ellen Road, 30, 40,000, whatever Josh Warrington can get in there. You know, now that you take that money away, because it's not a pay-per-view fight, how does that fight happen? This is the problem. How does that fight happen? Man. We'll see. A couple of last bits, people. De La Hoya, Garcia needed the fight to prove he belongs with the elite. Let's calm down about the elite. It was a good win. It was a good win. I say it again, though. If it's weird, I want to give him credit, but I also want to give Luke Campbell a bit of like, just because if Gervonta Davis puts Ryan Garcia down like that, he ain't getting back up. I mean, he'll get back up, but then he'll swarm on him. Luke was so tentative. And I don't know why. And what I realized as well, that after he knocked Ryan Garcia down, he does look to the corner, almost like he's looking for advice. Okay, what do I do here? And I'm like, why do you need, 33, dude, very experienced, you know, amateur, traveled all over the world. You know what to do. If you're a killer, you know what to do. And I feel like he looked at Shane, and Shane's probably said, just calm down a bit. And that's probably why. I don't know. I'd love to speak to Shane McGuigan and ask. Shane's a great guy, by the way. I'd love to speak to him. All right, is that it? I think we're done. I think we are done. All right, what should we... I took this from Sky Transfer Talk mug. Forgot to leave it. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I want to say so much. about boxing, so much about what fights I want to see in 2021. But the truth be told, what I really want to see more than anything is us out of this lockdown. Like, it really, really is depressing. So depressing. I'm trying to stay positive about it, but it's difficult, man. It's difficult too. Let's just hope that sport can bring us some joy. I guess, yeah, let's hope, man. Let's hope. Peace, peeps.